Hi everyone, Reverend Dominic here again. It's Friday, April 24th. It's good to be with you again. Last Sunday, we shared virtual worship using the Easter materials produced by our Southern New England Conference of the United Church of Christ. This Sunday, we're going to return to in-house virtual worship again. Now, our conference has been very active on many fronts in the midst of this pandemic, as has been our national office of the United Church of Christ. And one area that our national United Church of Christ has been very vocal about has to do with how this pandemic has affected Asian Americans. Asian Americans have seen an increase in racist attacks since the beginning of this outbreak, and it continues today. And one way our church has responded to this is by having as many clergy and UCC people in general read and sign a letter about that I want to share with you today. Now, this letter comes from Reverend John Dorhauer, our General Minister and President of the United Church of Christ, and from Reverend Tracy Blackman, our Associate General Minister for Justice and Local Church Ministries of the United Church of Christ, and from Karen Georgia Thompson, our Associate General Minister for Wider Church Ministries in the United Church of Christ. And it begins with a great definition of racism from Reverend Tracy Blackman. I hadn't heard it put this way before, and I think it's helpful. She writes, "Racism is real. Racism originates from the unholy belief that there are human groups with particular social and physical characteristics that make them superior or inferior to another human group." It's a great definition from a faith perspective. And the letter reads like this. Since the outbreak and spread of COVID-19 throughout our country and world, there has been an unconscionable surge of xenophobic attacks against our Asian American and Pacific Islander kindred across this country. Many of these attacks are the predictable outcome of the intentional spread of misinformation and the amplification of denigrating remarks from the highest office of leadership in this country. We are in the midst of a devastating public health crisis, only worsened by divisive remarks and violent attacks on Chinese and Asian Americans, including members of our own church, who are as innocently traumatized by the effects of COVID-19 as anyone else. As people of faith, we have a moral and theological responsibility to use our unique religious platform to condemn the inherent evil of such actions that fuel hatred and jeopardize the safety and well-being of everyone. We have a responsibility to quell fear and not ignite it. It's a great line in this letter. We have a responsibility to quell fear and not ignite it. We have a responsibility to share only information that is true and refute information that is false. These are biblical principles to which we are compelled to adhere. Let us, as the church, be unequivocally clear that the dissemination of false information regarding the origin and spread of COVID-19 in order to incite racial and xenophobic attacks against either American citizens or people from anywhere in the global community is morally reprehensible, spiritually bereft, and antithetical to the life and ministry of Jesus the Christ. As officers of the United Church of Christ, we strongly urge both our members and the wider church and society to actively resist false assertions with truth, divisive comments with positive affirmations and acts of solidarity, and hatred with lavish expressions of love. Let us reach out to our Chinese and Asian American kindred in tangible ways to remind them that they are not alone. We have heard stories of violence, pain, and targeting from inside and outside of the United Church of Christ. Such actions cause deep harm to those persons and to the entire body of Christ. Therefore, we strongly urge you to only share confirmed and verifiable information pertaining to COVID-19, how it spreads, and how Americans should protect themselves. And beyond that, we implore you to share love. We will survive COVID-19, and yet we will forever be changed by its presence among us. The moral question we face at this time is, who shall we become in the midst of it all? Even as the world is changing all of us, our mission remains the same. United in spirit and inspired by God's grace, we welcome all, love all, and seek justice for all. And it's signed by a host of people, including myself. You can find this on the national website of the United Church of Christ. I'm proud to belong to a church that is aware of this aspect of the pandemic and is taking action on it. I hope you will also spread love where you are able as this pandemic continues. In the meantime, and until next time, I do wish you all the best.